Namaste. Oh, well, I am so glad to be with you today because I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is about networking and how you can use that to grow your business. So, if this is your first time tuning in, listening to the podcast, or watching it on YouTube, I am Gloria Grace, a spiritual business coach helping entrepreneurs leverage their intuition to break through revenue ceilings and achieve sustainable business growth. And networking has definitely been a really vital part of how I've been able to grow my business. And I know it's helped countless others all around the world, frankly, but definitely here in the United States where I live. And I really want to talk today about the value of networking. So let's start off with, for those of you who may not have ever heard this term before, and I doubt it if you're a regular listener to this podcast, and you most likely are in business, so you know what it is. But I'm just going to tell you anyway. So it's essentially at its core, what networking is about making connections with people. And that's something that, well, prior to the internet, it was something that was just done in person. But of course, now we can connect with people online as well. And there are lots of ways that you can network. Certainly, you can network person to person, just as an individual reaching out to someone. But really, the power of networking typically comes with groups, networking groups. And I have had the pleasure of being a member of several networking groups over the years. Some I'm still in, some I'm not in anymore, but they have really been a tremendous resource for me, certainly as they have for the other members, to be able to build relationships, because that's ultimately what this is. And it's about building relationships because relationships are important when you're in business. You've got to be able to build relationships in order to be able to grow your business, to be able to ultimately, of course, we want to be able to get clients, but sometimes it's about making relationships that could lead to partnerships. They can lead to joint venture partnerships in particular, and they can lead to referrals. So I'm going to share a little bit about my experience, certainly with networking, and through that, I hope that you'll be able to come to see the value of that. So, as I said, one of the groups that I belong to right now is called the Women's Prosperity Network, and through this network, I've been a member of it for several years now. I have met some amazing women, and some of whom have gone on to become clients of mine, which is always a wonderful thing. And some of them have even been podcast guests and on this show as well. And also, some of them have become really good friends of mine. In fact, not only through the Women's Prosperity Network, but I've got a good friend that I met through a local networking organization, and this was one that in the town I was living in at the time, they would have regular meetings, and I met this lovely woman, and we have stayed connected all of this time, and now we're members of Women's Prosperity Network, or WPN, as we like to call it. And she's actually a wonderful photographer. She's done my headshots before, and she's also been a coaching client of mine. So it's really awesome. See, and actually I just realized there. So there was a nice symbiotic relationship. I invested in her. I hired her to do my headshots. She invested in me by becoming a coaching client. And that's the beauty of networking right there. Because And this didn't happen, actually. I'm gonna back up. I was gonna say, because, but no, it's about, we had to establish that relationship. I didn't start having her do my headshots until several years after we'd met. But the reason I was able to do it is because I came to know her. I came to really like her and trust her. And then I saw the work she was doing with other people that I knew, and I then hired her to do that. And again, because she was needing some support in her business, then she hired me to provide coaching for her. But this came about because we'd built that relationship through the networking, through attending regular meetings, getting to know one another, talking, attending different events. Yeah, a lot of times they're over luncheons and things like that. So that's amazing. One of the amazing things about networking. Another huge benefit of networking is that it leads to referrals. And one of my very, very first clients, and this was when I was doing exclusively, uh, copywriting, SEO copywriting, search engine optimization, helping businesses to be able to get their websites ranked on the top of Google. And one of my very first clients was a life coach in Orlando, Florida, and I was able to get their website up on the first page of Google. So, yay. She was extremely happy with me, and she invited me to attend a networking luncheon from an organization that she was actually, I think she was running the chapter at the time. And this was a organization that's still around today. It's called WOAMTEC, and it stands for Women on a Mission to Earn Commission. And because she was so happy with my work, she became my greatest cheerleader at that organization, and she would often, do a shout out for me during a meeting and let people know about what I did and how I helped her. And so again, this is how I was able to get clients through her referrals. And actually, specifically, she did even refer me to specific people that I was then able to talk to and then convert them into clients. So again, that's why what the beauty of networking is enables you to meet people, to develop these relationships that can, if they don't lead to directly that person becoming a client of yours, they could lead to a referral. And in fact, again, just the other day, I actually received an email from someone who I've known for many years through networking, and she gave me a referral. So this is the so much power in networking, and it's why I love it so much. The other thing that networking can do for you is it can also expand your knowledge. A lot of times these groups will offer trainings like sales and marketing trainings or how to do public speaking. And they often will encourage their members to get up and do like a 5-minute spotlight or sometimes even a longer presentation. And in fact, this was how I actually got my start as a public speaker was through actually this local networking group that I met my friend in that I just talked to you about, the photographer. When I was a member of that group, they were looking for speakers during the luncheons, and I think it was maybe I think I probably gave a 10 or a 15-minute presentation. So I had to prepare, and I was extremely nervous doing it. I think I was talking about the power of blogging. So this was a while ago. And but I got through my presentation, and afterwards everyone said, "Oh, you did a good job." So my being nervous, it was okay. I came across all right. But I was able to share my expertise with the members of the networking group. So networking, not only do you benefit from learning from other people, but then you may also be given the opportunity to share your knowledge. And that helps you to demonstrate your authority on a particular subject. So, again, that helps you in building that relationship with people so that they see that, oh, this person really knows what they're talking about. They're an expert in web design or they're an expert in sales. And I need some help with that. I need some training. I'm going to go to that person now because I've benefited from their expertise. I've learned something from their presentation. So this is another reason why I network. because of all of these wonderful benefits that it provides. Now, I want to give you one caveat though, because I'm sure, again, if you've been in business, you've probably experienced this, but if someone is maybe perhaps new, maybe you've just started a business, you're just starting to network, and you may be tempted to do this. So I'm going to caution you right now that oftentimes, and this would still happen to me, is that you might go to, and this happens online, but I'm going to share how it happens in person first. So in person, you might go to a networking meeting. A person walks up to you, hands you their business card, and then starts to tell you all about the wonderful business that they have and what they do and all the services or the products that they sell. And then they're hoping that you're going to be so enthralled by what they just had to say that you're going to consider doing business with them down the road. This also happens online where frequently I'm seeing this. I've seen it on Facebook. Yeah, actually I did see it on Facebook the other day. I got a Facebook message from someone offering their services on how to help me, and I get it on Instagram a lot too, but also on LinkedIn as well. So all of the social media platforms, it seems people are going about thinking that they can just send you a direct message and say, "Here, this is what I do. Are you interested? You want to have a conversation about it?" It's like, you don't even know if I'm interested at all. Why don't we get to know each other first? Why don't you ask me questions and find out, hey, are you looking for something like this rather than just offering it? And I liken it to, if you are, let's say you go out to a bar, you want to meet a man or a woman, and you go up to them and you ask to marry them and say, I want to marry you right now. Most people don't do that. I know there are some arranged marriages out there, but most people don't do that. Instead, you want to get to know the person. You're going to go out on a few dates. You're going to get to know them and see if there is some, isn't that, well, compatibility isn't in dating, but what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come back to me in a minute. But anyway, you want to see if there is something that you decide that you like this person, frankly, that you like them, that you trust them, that they have knowledge that you need, and then they also happen to sell the whatever product or service you need as well. But you're going to take that time first. So if you are doing any type of networking, whether it is online or in person, I encourage you to build relationships first. You want to get to know a person. So if you're on LinkedIn, that's things like looking for people, reaching out to them, offering to, actually, here's one quick tip I'm going to tell you, whether this is in person or wherever, ask people questions, get to know them, because we all, as human beings, we love it when people show interest in us. So if someone is asking, say, "Hey, tell me about you. What do you like? What are your interests? What do you do for a living? What is your business?" And then say, "Oh, I might be able to help you." But you've got to get that information first before you make that offer, because otherwise you're wasting each other's time, and there's no reason to do that when you can take the time to build up that relationship first. So that's what networking is all about. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And in fact, I've started my own networking group. It's called the Soulful Women's Network. And it is designed not necessarily specifically for business, but it's more about, I wanted to create a place for women of all stages in their life, whether you're a professional, whether you have your own business, or maybe you're retired, or maybe you're looking to start over and do something else, but to have a place where women could gather, where we could learn from each other and be able to support one another in our goals and our dreams. So we meet once a month, and I've got a Facebook group for it as well. But what I love about it is that and this is something I've done at other networking groups too, is we spend time masterminding, which is essentially where one person comes to the table with a particular challenge, and then the other members of the group help brainstorm ideas to be able to help them with that challenge. And I love doing this. And we've got, as of the recording of this, we've got a meeting coming up, but by the time this comes out, we'll have had our July meeting already. And so our next one is coming up in August. You can learn more about this at soulfulwomensnetwork.com. And I encourage you to check it out. And if this appeals to you, and I've got, I'll put quickly up here the Facebook group is as well. You can go to bit.ly/soul network. I'll have all of this in the show notes for you as well, but you can join. The Facebook group is free. The other, the membership, the other Soulful Women's Network is a membership program, but I encourage you to just even come out to the Facebook group and just start to get to know the other people. So it's a wonderful thing to do. All right. Let's see. Yes, I wanted to talk about that. So if you are a regular listener of this podcast, when I do my solo episodes, or if you're a regular viewer, I like to share the daily word from Unity. It's something that I have received tremendous benefit over the years, and they have such wise advice or just information to support you in different aspects of your life. So of course, we're talking about networks today, networking, and that's ultimately about relationships. So I found a reading today that I want to share with you that I thought was appropriate. And this is from August 12th of 1992. And the affirmation, they also include an affirmation, which is God blesses my relationships. And so the reading says, life offers many opportunities for a variety of relationships. Each association is different and unique. Still, the most meaningful relationships share one thing in common. They are inspired by God. God leads me to harmonious relationships. With this thought in mind, I know that I participate in relationships that bless all people concerned. I remain open to the good that others are willing to share with me. In return, I bless others by beholding the Christ within them and supporting their unfoldment in whatever ways I can. Recognizing that there is a spiritual side to all my relationships gives me a new appreciation for just how remarkable they are. How wonderful it is to know that we are all united with each other and with God. And then they also end it with a scripture reading. This is from Romans 15:5. May the God of steadfastness grant you to live in such harmony with one another. So that's what this is really about. It's about networking is about relationships. And I love how it says that we should remain open to the good that others are willing to share with me and then to bless others. And I think that's how we can treat the relationships that we do make through networking. And I will also share with you one of the things that the Women's Prosperity Network, it was founded by three sisters, and one of the sisters wrote a book called You're the One. Or the one, I should say, actually. Yeah, so it's called The One, but it's about this philosophy of when you do meet someone, rather than it being all about you, think about what you can do for that person, how you can be that one person that they were looking for, that can solve their problem. But again, not in a salesy way, but to just treat that person as if they are your best friend already, and is here to behold the Christ within them. If we take it in that more spiritual way, to recognize that we are all united in God. So if we treat that other person that you're meeting at a networking person like the divine spirit that they are, think how much richer your relationship could be, and whether it turns out to be a client relationship or a partnering relationship or referrals, whatever, or maybe they just turn out to be a good friend. And frankly, who doesn't need another good friend in their life? Why it doesn't always have to be business. These business groups can provide you with an opportunity to meet people who become good friends. And I think that's just as valuable, even more so sometimes, than having it turn out to be a client. So that's what I want to share with you today. I also want to remind you as well that this is the month of July, and I have a special request to all of you. If you are enjoying this podcast, if you like what you've been hearing, to nominate Live, Love, Engage in the Education and People's Choice categories at podcastawards.com. And so the nominations are open through July 31st, 2023. So I encourage you, ask humbly, actually, I should say, not, I encourage you, but I also humbly request that if you would please nominate this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you in advance. And before we close out this episode, I do want to share with you a gift that I have been blessed to receive, and it's something that I do share with clients and with friends and loved ones, and it's something that I do every week on this show or every solo episode that I do with you, and it is the gift of light language. And light language is a channeled message that comes from higher realms that speaks to your heart, speaks to your soul. It's not necessarily something that you can understand with your logical part of your brain, but just trust that whatever message comes through, whatever sounds you hear today, will be for your soul's highest good. And so if you are listening to this somewhere where you are driving a car or someplace, maybe you're even just out for a walk right now, I would ask you to pause it, come back to this some other time where you can sit down and listen, be able to close your eyes perhaps, and just allow the sounds to come through, because most people who experience this find that it is very relaxing, and it really allows you to let go of any stress that you might be holding onto. So I want to share a message with you right now. And so I thank you for listening. So and what I always do is I invite angelic beings, galactic beings, elementals, just to share with me a message of love and light that is for not only my soul's highest benefit, but for your soul's highest benefit as well. Ko kayo no ko hu, kayo no ko yu ka he, ka koya shono, kayo no ku iko, sakaya no ka sakoshiha, hanno ko yanno kreba, ashokonu ko umpatachin kali atotokoni amandoko pa. E no ko lina na to kusha kategore batonga e ano ko kuya ta kashi ana ko e bata o hu ko ya o kalele liano kaliku asa koshanya na kiha se o shono kayotake asikasha no haka se ate Koya no ko fuha, So koshiano koe pana kiata. He kosho no e manta keata. He sakoshiama kolia baton kuiata. He nano ko papa yana kata totuia sadat kiata. He kumana kriabana kriana kriando 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 kuiata. E kani o ku kayono kuhu sana yoko yotu. Sanyo no kuyato he kaho. Sakoyo koyato. Sakoyo to yotu shanyo no ku. He sakaya no ko pateka he. Padonyo no kuya koi he he. Sakushiya koyoto. Kwayoto, kwayoto, kwa. Kaya naka soshi koho sanye. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, I would love a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube by any chance, I'd love to have you leave me a comment. You can also reach out to me on my website, which is gloriarand.com and or gloriagracerand.com as well. And or you can also, if you ever were interested in being able to have an experience with light language yourself, or maybe you've got a question about how to grow your business, or you need some support with that, let's chat. Oh, please just go to engagewithgloria.com. That'll take you right to my calendar where you can schedule a call with me. There's no obligation. I'm not going to charge you for this. It's just a conversation. And that's how it starts. We chat, and if I can help you, great. If I can't help you, I may know someone else who can. And I am never hesitant to refer people to someone else. See how this goes, you know? We talked about this today about building relationships, not only for clients, but referrals or just becoming a good friend. So again, that's engagewithgloria.com. That'll be in the show notes as well for those of you listening. And that's going to do it for me for this time. And I just always encourage you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube so you won't miss any of the videos or the next episodes that come out. And I always, always, always encourage you to go out today and every day and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.